Alright, now imagine this. It's late, the TV's glowing, and suddenly, some creepy tune kicks in that's equal parts spooky and catchy. For decades, television intros have set the stage for tales of the strange, the uncanny, and the downright terrifying. Today we're looking at some of my favorite spooky openings ever broadcast. Those haunting few seconds that dared us to keep watching. Or if you were like me, turn off the set and hide.
Nope.
Well, now this one's a no-brainer. The X-Files follows FBI agents Mulder and Scully as they investigate the paranormal. Everything from the Chupacabra all the way to a government conspiracy to hide the truth about extraterrestrials. And that intro? Pure chills. When that synth kicks in, it's haunting and hypnotic, pulling you into a world of grainy UFO clips, spooky ghosts, and, well, whatever the hell these things are. Mark Snow's score creeps up your neck like a cold whisper. It's peak 90s spooky. Unsettling enough to make you scan the shadows, but so cool you're ready to grab a flashlight and chase aliens with Mulder. Even now, this intro is a tractor beam to the unknown. The truth is out there, and it starts with this vibe.
Nope.
The Twilight Zone is one of the most influential shows ever made. Created by the genius that is Rod Serling, it manages to tap into the subconscious and deliver thrills, chills, and sometimes a dash of social commentary. However, before the episode even begins, that intro is one of the creepiest things ever put to television. Season 1 starts with a strange hypnotic hum, like a signal from nowhere, over abstract shots of rippling waves and warped shapes fading into the title. Bernard Herrmann's eerie string-heavy score ramps up the tension all in stark black and white. It's pure 60s unease that you just can't shake.
There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known to man.
Later on in Season 1, it gets even creepier with a low hum as the camera zooms in on an eye. After Season 1, Bernard Herrmann's score is replaced by what most people know to be the classic Twilight Zone theme. Marius Constant's twitchy guitar and bongo riff takes over, paired with some new interesting visuals. Still though, it's not until Season 3 where we finally get what I think most people would say is the definitive Twilight Zone opening. With the music, the door, the window, the eye, it all just comes together beautifully. The 1980s Twilight Zone intro pays its respects to the original while also doing its own thing. The visuals are creepy, but the classic Twilight Zone music doesn't come in until a quick flash of Rod Serling appears on screen, signaling that we've finally entered the Twilight Zone. The 2000s reboot series takes things on a different direction when it turns the Twilight Zone theme into some new metal monstrosity.
A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind.
Jordan Peele also had his own version of the show, but the less said about that one, the better. No matter how much later versions of the show tried to do their own thing, nothing really beats the creepiness of the original.
You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Nope.
Get ready to lose sleep. Unsolved Mysteries is true crime spooky at its finest. Launched in 1987 with Robert Stack as the Gravel-voiced host, it dives into real-life cases, vanishings, murders, UFOs, and ghosts that'll make you question everything. The intro is a masterclass in creeping you out. It starts with this low, pulsing synth beat, like a heartbeat in the dark.
Tonight, the season premiere of Unsolved Mysteries.
Then that unforgettable theme by Gary Malkin and Michael Boyd kicks in, all moody and mysterious. Stack steps out of the fog in his trench coat, voiced like a ghost story narrator. The 90s vibe here is thick.
Nope.
The Outer Limits is sci-fi spooky brilliance delivered twice. The original dropped in 1963, dreamed up by Leslie Stevens. Its intro is particularly spooky. A test pattern buzzes, then a freaky oscillator hum. Pure analog oddness kicks in. Vic Perrin's control voice hits.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture.
Black and white cosmic waves and static flicker like a bad dream, with Dominic Frontier's eerie score pumping the dread. It's 60s freaky dark, trippy, and loaded with alien vibes. Then the 90s revival lands in 1995, glossier but still just as chilling. The hum returns, now with a synth twist over glowing circuits and starry swirls. The control voice is back, voiced by Kevin Conway, deep, commanding, and echoing Perrin's style. The updated theme crafts a moody modern sound, twitchy and slick, giving it that 90s spooky edge. Both intros grab you hard, daring you to peek into the void. Old or new, The Outer Limits brings the creeps.
The Outer Limits.
Nope.
Few TV intros have ever captured eerie childhood dread quite like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Premiering in Canada in 1990 on YTV, 2 years before it creeped its way onto American screens via Nickelodeon, the series became a cornerstone of Canadian spooky nostalgia, and its intro? Unforgettable. There's no narration, no characters, just a montage of unsettling quiet horror. A lone swing creaking in the wind, a shutter banging open in a forgotten attic, and most memorably, a rowboat gently rocking against the rocks on a desolate shore. The music is an echoing melody with ghostly undertones. It feels like a music box playing in an abandoned house. Add in the occasional whisper and it's enough to freeze your blood before the show even begins. That intro set the tone for a series that respected kids' intelligence and their fears.
Nope.
If Are You Afraid of the Dark was creepy campfire horror, Tales from the Dark Side was a cold whisper from the void. Airing from 1983 to 1988, this horror anthology series produced by George A. Romero delivered low-budget nightmares with high-concept chills, but nothing set the tone like its opening sequence, bleak, foreboding, and deeply existentially unsettling. It begins with serene shots of nature, rolling hills, trees swaying in the wind, birds calling in the distance. A calm voice narrates,
Man lives in the sunlit world.
Then the screen flips. The same peaceful images are suddenly cast in harsh negative. The colors inverted, the light sucked out, the voice drops even lower.
A dark side.
Cue the haunting organ theme. It's not fast or chaotic, just slow and dreadful. Like something ancient waking up. There are no monsters shown, no blood, no flashing lights, just that stark message. There is something else out there, and you do not want to find it.
Nope.
Before Paranormal Investigation was cool, Kolchak the Night Stalker was quietly breaking new ground. Premiering in 1974, this one-season wonder followed Carl Kolchak, a scrappy newspaper reporter with a knack for stumbling into the supernatural. The tone was noir meets monster, and its intro set the stage with effortless style. The show opens in silence. The newsroom is dim and empty. Kolchak walks in whistling casually. The sound of his typewriter fills the room as the camera drifts through the shadowy office. The jazzy theme begins, and it's playful at first, almost light-hearted, matching Kolchak's quirky confidence. But then the music shifts and grows darker, more foreboding. Its off-kilter notes hinting at the strange and sinister things Kolchak will face. What started as a casual, almost comical intro quickly transforms into something uneasy, setting the tone for the eerie, investigative tales to come. Nothing's really shown, but the vibe is unmistakable. Something strange is always just below the surface, and Kolchak, well, he's the only one paying attention.
Nope.
The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror specials have become a Halloween tradition for the Simpsons fans, but it's the opening sequences that really set the tone for these spooky satirical episodes. For myself, the early intros really stand out, especially the ones that open with the Springfield Cemetery. There's no narration outside of Marge's warning, just the spooky version of the Simpsons theme and the simple yet atmospheric visuals of the tombstones, each one bearing a darkly humorous name. It's a moment of silly horror, setting the stage for the Halloween madness to come. These early Treehouse of Horror intros weren't about flashy visuals, they were more so about atmosphere. The cemetery scenes created a subtle, eerie vibe, mixing the familiar with the strange. As the specials continued, later intros became more extravagant with surreal parodies and over-the-top visuals. While those do have their own appeal, the simplicity and quiet dread of the early cemetery sequences remain a favorite for many.
Nope.
Hannibal, the 2013 NBC series created by Brian Fuller, is a feast for both the eyes and the psyche. Based on the characters from Thomas Harris's novels, the show centers on the complex and chilling relationship between FBI Special Investigator Will Graham and Dr. Hannibal Lecter, a brilliant psychiatrist with a dark and twisted secret. Spoilers, he eats people. The show quickly gained a cult following, largely due to its unique storytelling, visually stunning cinematography, and an unsettlingly beautiful opening sequence. The intro to Hannibal is a masterful blend of surrealism and horror, setting the tone for the psychological cat-and-mouse game between Will and Hannibal. The sequence opens with a disturbing yet elegant visual of Hannibal Lecter emerging from a swirling tangle of red liquid, which, as the show's theme suggests, represents both blood and wine, a symbol of Hannibal's dual nature, his refined, cultured exterior, and the monstrous bloodlust beneath. The figure's slow emergence from this liquid is both graceful and grotesque, perfectly encapsulating the show's eerie elegance. It's just a shame the show wasn't able to continue and was cancelled after only 3 seasons.
Nope.
Millennium, Chris Carter's follow-up to The X-Files, debuted in 1996 as a psychological crime drama with supernatural elements. The show follows Frank Black, a former FBI profiler, with the ability to understand the minds of serial killers, which becomes both a gift and a curse as he confronts increasingly dark and twisted cases. The intro to Millennium is minimalist and haunting, setting the tone for the show's exploration of psychological horror. It opens with a series of eerie, abstract images, distorted faces, flickering lights, and shadowy figures. These unsettling visuals evoke a sense of unease and the breakdown of reality. Mark Snow's atmospheric score amplifies the tension, with a haunting violin and a Celtic-inspired melody, drawing viewers into the grim world of Millennium.
Nope.
The Walking Dead, based on Robert Kirkman's graphic novel series, debuted in 2010 and quickly became one of the most influential shows of the decade. Set in a post-apocalyptic world overrun by zombies, the series follows a group of survivors led by former Sheriff's Deputy Rick Grimes as they navigate the dangers of both the undead and the living. While the show's content is known for its shocking violence and emotional drama, its opening sequence is equally memorable for setting the tone of the series. The intro is stark and haunting, with images of an empty, desolate landscape, once familiar now turned into a ghostly shell of civilization. The haunting atmospheric score by Bear McCready builds as we see scenes of chaos, abandoned cars, and a city in ruin. The absence of living people in these opening moments creates a profound sense of isolation and dread, underscoring the collapse of society. Like any good zombie show, the main focus isn't so much the undead themselves, but the humans that try to survive in a society that has completely disintegrated, and I think the intro does a great job of capturing that.
Nope.
The intro to Goosebumps, the beloved 90s anthology series based on R.L. Stine's best-selling books, is a perfect mix of spooky fun and kid-friendly horror. From the moment the eerie wind blows open the briefcase and the papers go flying, you're pulled into a world where the ordinary twists into the unsettling. Set to a creepy synth-heavy theme that's instantly recognizable, the sequence follows a mysterious G as it drifts through a small town, infecting everything it touches with supernatural weirdness. Signs flicker, dogs' eyes glow, and shadows stretch unnaturally across walls. The visuals are surreal but never gory, walking that fine line between frightening and playful. Just scary enough for kids, but still cool enough to hook older viewers.
Nope.
The intro to Stranger Things is a masterclass in atmospheric minimalism. No monsters, no flashing images, just slowly emerging red neon letters, a deep synth pulse, and a creeping sense of unease. Inspired by 80s horror and sci-fi, the sequence is simple but hypnotic, evoking a time when opening credits were allowed to build mood. Set to Kyle Dixon and Michael Steen's now iconic theme, the music pulses like a heartbeat, cool, electronic, and filled with menace. The font, which is a tribute to classic Stephen King paperback covers, slowly drifts into place, forming the title with eerie patience, while faint glitches and flickers suggest that there might be something just beyond our reality. It actually somewhat reminds me of the opening sequence to the movie Night of the Creeps. This is a rare case where doing less actually accomplishes more.
Nope.
The intro to Tales from the Crypt is a haunted carnival ride through every childhood fear, realized in twisted cartoonish detail. It begins innocently enough, a sweeping shot over a mansion on a hill as Danny Elfman's mischievous, macabre theme kicks in, but quickly descends into a cackling nightmare. The camera floats past cobwebs, dusty portraits, creaking doors, and down into the bowels of the house where the real host awaits. Every moment is choreographed for dread and delight. The pace picks up as the viewer is pulled deeper through the crypt, until the coffin lid blasts open and out pops the crypt keeper. It's a jump scare wrapped in camp, and it just works. Unlike many horror intros that lean into abstract dread or psychological unease, Tales from the Crypt goes full haunted house. It's theatrical, grotesque, and giddy with its own nastiness, just like the show itself and the EC comics they're based off of.
Tales from the Crypt.
Nope.
Every season of American Horror Story reinvents itself, but the intro always lets you know exactly just what kind of nightmare you're stepping into. Blending found footage aesthetics, jumpy editing, and sinister ambient music, each opening is a shrieking collage of discomfort, tailored to that season's theme. Whether it's the scratchy film reel horrors of Murder House, the grainy cult propaganda of Cult, or my personal favorite, the 1980s slasher feel of 1984, the intro serves as a jarring mixtape of subliminal dread. Faces appear for only frames, symbols flash, limbs twitch. You're not just watching, you're being infected by something, and I don't think there's a cream for it. The music stays largely consistent, a warped waltz of grinding strings, echoing percussion, and mechanical whines. It's as iconic as any horror theme, building anticipation and anxiety in equal measure. While most shows use intros to establish a tone, American Horror Story uses them to disorient. They're quick doses of horror in their own right. Unsettling, aggressive, and always hiding something in the corners. They promise that the story you're about to watch won't just be scary, it'll get under your skin. Now, if only the show was as good as its intros.
Nope.
And there you have it. Just a few of my favorite spooky television intros that set the tone before a single line of dialogue is even spoken. Whether it's a grainy UFO, a spooky haunted mansion, or some bizarre demonic imagery, these sequences do more than open a show, they pull us right in. But what about you? What are some of your favorite spooky TV intros? Let me know down in the comments. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you're doing great and stay spooky!
Nope.